Kamala Harris also making news in another way, releasing her very first TV ad as the Democratic nominee. It's the start of what the campaign says will be a $50 million blitz.
This campaign is about who we fight for. We believe in a future where every person has the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead.
That is the opening message, and it is an opening message later than any other nominee in American history for the reasons we all know, 98 days out. Harris in Georgia for that rally, as mentioned. This is some footage of her just a little bit earlier today. You may recall how pivotal this state was for the Biden-Harris win in 2020. The Harris campaign is putting time and energy here. A local paper says they're opening 3 offices across the state with dozens of events and capitalizing on what they see as a surge of enthusiasm among younger voters that has been defined by the early days of her bid. Now, how close was Georgia in 2020? Well, about 11,000 votes, basically a couple of 0.03, if you look at it that way, 49.5 to 49.2. And that's why, if you remember the infamous call Donald Trump made where he was trying to basically find or steal votes, it was in this state of Georgia, remember?
All I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
Legally, that is evidence in the former president's criminal trial in Washington, if it's ever held. Politically, it's just a reminder of why everyone's in Georgia tonight. That was the margin. Trump lost it, but it was, by all accounts, narrow. Now, Harris and her VP pick, according to Reuters, will be out on the trail next week, which means, by inference, we're going to have a pick soon, and they're going to be giving rallies like this.
I know Donald Trump's type. Donald Trump wants to take our country backward. We're not going back. We're not going back. Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it?
You hear the chants and the energy. There are many ways we followed that the Democratic Party seems newly excited and united. The Post reports the Trump campaign insists Harris replacing Biden has not changed the race or hurt them. But look to the ticket itself. J.D. Vance telling people that he is actually somehow frustrated with what will be a harder challenge that they must face.
All of us were hit with a little bit of a political sucker punch. The bad news is that Kamala Harris does not have the same baggage as Joe Biden because whatever we might say, Kamala Harris is a lot younger. And Kamala Harris is obviously not struggling in the same ways that Joe Biden did.
Saying Kamala Harris is not struggling is an understatement. She is, right now, measurably thriving. Nobody knows who will win in November, but we have seen day after day the enthusiasm. Republicans can see her appeal for the same reason they push so hard at the DNC to feature anything that might feel somewhat cool or current, from Hulk Hogan to rap and Instagram star Amber Rose. Culture matters. And the Republican culture story right now isn't great for them. They have the oldest nominee ever with Biden's departure. And while Donald Trump did have a run in television and online at one point, his Apprentice show debuted 20 years ago. It's a relic of a reality TV past, and not one there are signs everyone wants to relive. Harris is tapping into the now and the future. That first campaign video they put out this past week, it rocks out to a star on the current charts, not the list from 20 years ago, not Hulk Hogan's glory days. It rocks out to Beyoncé's Freedom, one of the new Harris campaign anthems at rallies, and it comes with Beyoncé's seal of approval, a cue to many of her millions of fans. They go by the Bayhive, and many are talking up a new political K-Hive.
There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different. We choose freedom.
Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose.
In that song, Freedom, Beyoncé recounts fighting uphill battles in terms both personal and political. She says, freedom, where are you? Because I need freedom too. I break chains all by myself, tell the storm I'm new. I'm a walk, I'm a march on the regular, painting white flags blue. Beyonce rejecting the typical white flag of surrender and painting it blue, a likely reference to empowering the next generation of young women and girls, as her daughter is named Blue, and one the K-Hive may run with for painting ballots blue for Democrats this year. And that has political appeal, but it's not just political posturing. Vice President Harris is clearly a longtime Beyonce fan. She attended a show as vice president in the tour's official sparkle-themed attire, which she posted there earlier. As senator, she shouted out Beyonce's Homecoming documentary for how it celebrates historically black colleges. Beyonce has sent support back towards Harris, too. She broadcast this striking election year message in 2020, a Biden-Harris mask, to her 300 million-plus followers. And she's previously made appearances. She was on the dais for President Obama's historic first inaugural with her husband, Jay-Z, a star in his own right, who donned that unforgettable hat you see there on that icy day. And in contrast to, say, Hulk Hogan or Apprentice reruns, Beyonce is very now. Just this week, Team USA debuting her official support with a slideshow for the Paris Olympics you can see there. And Beyonce has devoted fans basically across the world in every demographic and age group. But let's be clear, pop culture is a language young people speak fluently. They were key to the Biden-Harris winning coalition. Harris knows she needs them now. And most voters don't like it if it's fake posturing. I will note there are MAGA fans who claim that they're cool with J.D. Vance going from calling Trump, quote, America's Hitler to now being on the ticket. But generally, honesty is better. And we can see the signs that Harris comes by her moment, this music and cultural moment, pretty honestly. Before there were any indications she might be atop the ticket this year, she was very tapped into Beyonce, as I mentioned. She used her platform to elevate artists and art forms that Washington has long ignored. She rejected the D.C. controversy talk about hip-hop and hosted her own 50th celebration for the art form. We reported that at the time, and there she is dancing. Lil Wayne and Jeezy performed live. And I can tell you tonight, amidst these new ad wars, that celebration is suddenly something of an American Rorschach test. Do you see energy, optimism, and inclusion there as Harris leans into all this authentically? Or do you see something else? Because the new Trump campaign attack ad out today opens with footage from that same rap celebration, as the Post notes in its coverage. And you can hear the almost comically ominous opening. I'm about to play a little part of the Trump ad where they reference Harris's immigration work while misleadingly claiming she was some sort of border czar. But listen to the tone as we have this national debate and they tell their version of this story.
This is America's border czar, and she's failed us. Under Harris, over 10 million illegally here. 250,000 Americans dead from fentanyl.
They could pick any clip. They picked that one. They think they're on offense. But they might be wrong. They might be on defense, or they might be high on their own supply, projecting that everyone else will have a negative reaction to that video. Now, Beyonce, for her part, has worked with another young artist from her hometown of Houston, Megan Thee Stallion. And here was Megan actually speaking about what Beyonce means to her.
Ever since I was little, I was like, you know what? One day, I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna be like the rap Beyonce. I love the way she is. I love the way she carries herself. And my mama will always be like, Megan, what would Beyonce do? And I'm always like, you know what? What would Beyonce do? But let me make it a little ratchet.
What would Beyonce do? Well, I showed you Beyonce would support the 2020 Biden-Harris ticket. Beyonce would get involved in her own way, and Megan Thee Stallion, with a huge following, is doing that. She has made her own political anthem about women's rights with a music video that shows the person you see on the screen. That's an actor playing a seemingly conservative senator, complete with the red MAGA tie. And in the Megan Thee Stallion video, which was a big hit song, she shows this Republican going online to hypocritically attack her in misogynistic terms, by the way. And then in the song, which, like Beyonce, taps both personal and political and women's rights themes and freedom, she confronts this politician for disrespecting all the different women who actually run things.
The women that you accidentally trying to step on, or everybody that you depend on?
They cook your meals, they haul your trash,
They drive your ambulances, they guard you while you sleep.
The message there from Megyn is telling this politician, who she sees as a hypocrite trying to control her body, that if he actually understood reality, he would understand what women of color, women around the country actually do every day, and why he has the wrong approach. Now, that's culture, that's fiction, you could say. It's a music video making a point, but it's also very resonant. Megan Thee Stallion using her platform, as Beyonce and others have, to argue for empowerment and against what they see as people taking them backwards. Now, why is this in the news tonight? If you watch this show regularly, you may say, is it because we love hip-hop? No, it's actually because it's national political news, as confirmed here. Megan Thee Stallion will be performing to open the Kamala Harris rally in Georgia, the South, where she has so many fans and followers, tonight. That same rally we showed you at the top of the broadcast and that you'll see Kamala Harris speak at. It's drawing headlines like this. It's still Hot Girl Summer for the Harris campaign, a reference to one of Megan Thee Stallion's big songs. If you get the reference, you're into the music. If you don't get the reference, that's okay. We're all learning as we go. But this is something Kamala gets, almost intuitively. This is happening fast because this campaign came out of nowhere last weekend, and it's happening organically. Considered another song in the growing set list of this year's Camelot. Another pop star, Charli XCX, has rushed to back Harris online, and you've probably seen those viral memes or talk about them. They reference some of her work to talk about Brat Summer. So, is it Brat Summer? Is it political summer? Is it a hot girl summer? Is it a hot American summer? These are questions that will be answered. Are we witnessing another shift, an Obama-esque embrace with new characters and new people, and a history that, if you look into it, shows a lot of what I mentioned earlier, an authentic interest, personal and political,